Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I have not talked to y'all in a few days, which normally would not be that weird, but as of recently, it feels really weird because I was doing Vlogmas, so I was uploading every other day, and now it's been like 4 or 5 days, so it definitely feels really weird not uploading. I've had like a little bit of a break, and I hope that you guys all had a very Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays for everyone else who celebrates something different. I hope that y'all had time with family and friends and just got to relax at home. In a few days, we're going to be entering a new year, which means it is time for the 2024 end of year book tag. These are some of my favorite book videos. I love looking at people's stats for the year on like how many books they read, what kind of books they read, just like everything. I love watching these videos so much, so I've been so excited to film this video. I am sorry that the lighting is a little bit weird. This is like the only time I've had to film this video, and it is already 5:52 p.m. So it's not completely dark yet, but it's getting there, and I have my laptop right here. That's what I'm looking at. But the book tag that I have is honestly not from any specific person. I've seen a lot of people do it, and so I'll put all the questions in the description so that if you want to make a video or if you want to just go through and think about it yourself, then you can. But I will, for every question that I answer, I honestly don't even know how many questions there are, but for every question that I answer, I will hold up the physical book if I have the physical book, and if I read it on my Kindle, then I will put a picture somewhere up on the screen. We're gonna start with the very first one, which is, what was your reading goal for 2024 and how many books did you actually read? So my reading goal was 65 books. I am not a like super fast reader. I genuinely cannot comprehend how people read over 100 books a year. Like, that is crazy to me. So my reading goal was 65 and I only read 60 books. This is hard to talk about in a way because I don't like not meeting goals, and I genuinely thought I was going to read 65 because for the first 6 months of the year I was actually like really ahead on my reading goal. I started getting behind in the last obviously 6 months, and I got behind. So today is the 28th, by the way, so we have like 3 or 4 days left, but I have only read 60 out of 65 books. So if I do end up reading another book, it'll only make it to like 61. Then the first like real question is the most disappointing book of the year, and I actually knew immediately what this was going to be, and it's Normal People by Sally Rooney. I got this book thinking that I honestly don't even know what all of the book girlies on YouTube rated this. I don't remember like seeing their ratings or anything. I probably saw them on Goodreads when I read the book, but I don't remember. But I went into this book just thinking like, oh, I've heard so many people talk about this book, like it has to be good. I hated this book. Like, I genuinely hated it so much, and I don't know why I did not DNF this book. I should have. So yeah, I think I gave this book like a 2 stars. I was just very, very disappointed because I feel like it was very hyped up on like TikTok and YouTube. And I don't know, I could not stand this book. I've gone into detail about why I hate it. The main one being the grammar, how there's no quotation marks in this book. So yeah, should have DNF'd this. I was very, very disappointed. The next one is, what was an underdog book you read? And this one was kind of hard because underdog obviously means like a book that you didn't think was going to be good and then it ended up being, really good, like you're underestimating it. And so I went with The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins when I got this book, because I got this from a Little Free Library, and I didn't know until after I had picked it up that this was kind of a replica of The Housemaid. And off the top of my head, I can't remember if this or The Housemaid came out first, but they essentially have kind of the same stories. Like, it's definitely different, but kind of the same in the sense of like The Wife Upstairs, if you know what I mean. But I actually really, really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it like a 4 stars, and yeah, it was just really good. So this was a book that I didn't know if I would love, because once I got it, like before I started reading and I read into the synopsis, I was like, oh, this sounds like The Housemaid. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna love it. I liked The Housemaid, but I was saying like it's a replica of another book, so like I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Basically like rereading a story, but I actually really ended up loving it. The next one is, what is an overhyped book you read? Guys, If y'all have been watching me for a long time, you know that I'm not a big Emily Henry person, and I did a reread, if any of y'all remember, earlier this year, to where I reread some of her books, and I reread Beach Read because I did not love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it the first time that I read it, so I reread it. Still was not amazing, but I still think that Beach Read is overhyped. I really genuinely do. Like, even in my reread, it just was not as good as people make it out to be. I don't know. This book is just not for me. I know it's being made into like a movie, I think, so hopefully the movie's better, but not for me. A book that surprised you. I took this as a book that I either did not think that I would love, or a book that not a lot of people love, and then I ended up loving it. So I actually read this on my Kindle, and that is The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. I read this book actually like 2 months after it came out, and so I ended up actually really liking the book, right? I had not read any reviews before I read it, and then after I read it, I was reading the reviews, and no one liked the book. And I'm in a few different like book groups on Facebook, and everyone hated the book. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm the only one that liked this book. And yeah, I don't know. That's just a book that surprised me in the sense of like, oh, I liked this, but no one else seemed to like it. The next one is your favorite book couples of the year. I put Violet and Xaden. Guys, I fell in love with Fourth Wing this year. I was so late to the game. Like, literally the second book came out, Iron Flame. It came out this year. Like, the beginning of this year. I don't even know when Fourth Wing came out. I'm gonna guess 2021 or 2022. Or maybe even 2023. I honestly have no idea, but I think about Violet and Xaden, like, every day. And that's probably because I see TikToks about them, but I think about them a lot. The next one is your favorite main characters of the year. I again put Violet and Xaden because, like I just said, they're my favorite couples. But I also put every character in the Addicted series. I feel like I did not even read that series this year, but I did. I read that whole series earlier in the year, and I love those characters with everything in me. I still think about them to this day. Like, I remember in those reading vlogs saying that I felt like they were people that I could text. I thought they were my best friends. I'm not even joking. So like, I still think about them to this day. So I honestly think about Ryke and Daisy a lot. I don't even know why. I don't know who my favorite like couples were in that book, but I think about Ryke and Daisy a lot more for some reason. So honestly, really just Violet and Xaden and every single character in the Addicted series. The next one is a new favorite author that you discovered this year, and that is 100% Ali Hazelwood. I guess you could also say Krista and Becca Ritchie, who were the authors of the Addicted series, but honestly, Ali Hazelwood, I have read 2 of her books this year, and she has so many, but I've read 2 of her books this year, and I think both books have either been 4.5 stars or 5 stars. Like, I am in love with her books. They are so good. I love her writing style, just everything about her and her books. I love her so much. So definitely Ali Hazelwood. And then the next one is an author that didn't work out for you. This one was kind of hard because I didn't want to put an author from which I only read like 1 book from them. I don't think that's fair. You know, like I was thinking about putting the author of Normal People, but I have not read any of her other books, so I don't think that's fair. I really don't. So I ended up putting Abby Jimenez. I read Yours Truly and like 2 other books, and Yours Truly was really good, but the other 2 books that I read were so, I don't know, just like slow and boring to me. And that's a really unpopular opinion because so many people love Abby Jimenez, and I'm not saying I don't like her, okay, but like she was kind of overhyped for me again. Like, I just did not like the other 2 books I read by her. So that was kind of an author that I guess just like didn't work out for me. I didn't try to like seek out any of her other books. The next one is, what is the happiest book you read this year? Honestly, this question confuses me because I was scrolling through my Goodreads and like every book I've read this year, and none of the books that I read were all happy. Like, a conflict happened in every book. So I was like, what book was, like, did I read anything that was like full happiness? I literally put A Scottish Christmas, you guys. I literally put that because this book, and I talked about it in the reading vlog, so I'm not going to go into like too much detail, but there wasn't really a conflict in this book. Like, it was just all like good things happening for this girl in this book. So I ended up putting that, and honestly, that's not even the best answer. Like, I feel like that's kind of like a cop-out, but I don't know what else to put. The next one is, what is the saddest book you read this year? I put Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book I did not actually like, but it was really, really sad. It focuses on just a woman meeting this guy, and shortly after they fall in love. I mean, like, it's one of those couples to where it's like they know they're soulmates from like the second they meet each other, and shortly after they meet, and I don't remember if they're married or not, I think they were, but he actually dies by getting hit by like a truck or something on his bike. I don't know, but it was, even though I didn't like the whole storyline, I cried a lot in the beginning of this book. It was really sad because when you're in the same position, you know, like you have someone you love so much and you're dating them and you want a future with them, like it's really hard to read about like them dying and then just like losing your forever person. It was really sad. But then I also put Kingdom of Ash, which is obviously a really sad book. One, it's the ending of a giant series, so like you're saying goodbye to all these characters, but so many sad things happen in this book and I cried a lot. So yeah, both of these books were really, really sad. The next one is the most frustrating book you read this year. I put Same Time Next Year by Tessa Bailey. I read this book in January, I'm pretty sure, like right after I got my Kindle. I was kind of just reading like every book you could read on Kindle Unlimited because I was so like happy that I had it. So I read this. It's technically a novella, and I thought it was the worst book I've ever read. Like still to this day, it's the worst book I've ever read. There was spice in every sentence. It was so unnecessary, so horrible, so everything, and it just was not for me. So that was the most frustrating book I've ever read. The next one is the best book adaptation of the year. I went through my Goodreads, you guys, and there was not a single book that has had like a movie or TV show adaptation yet. There were like 10 books that are getting them, but none have had them. Well, no, I mean in the sense of like I haven't watched any of them yet. So actually, let's do a little throwback to the beginning of the video. So Normal People by Sally Rooney, actually there was a TV show that came out years ago. I have not read it, but it has Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones, and it is supposedly really, really good, but I have not seen it, and I'm actually gonna start it tonight. I'm not even joking, I'm starting it tonight, but I hated the book, so I put Normal People with a question mark because I haven't seen it, but it's supposedly really, really good, and I read the book this year. The next one is your favorite covers of the year. So I actually put 2 books again, and I think I said this in my like mid-year wrap up, but I put Tower of Dawn. And it's funny that this book is like the least popular of all of the books in the series, but I loved this book. I'm in the minority when I say that this is one of my favorite books of the series. It is so, oh my god, I just love it so much. But I think the cover is amazing. It is phenomenal. It is different from every other book in the series. Like the orange and the tower and just the colors, it is so pretty. Funny enough, the next book is also Sarah J Maas, and the book is not in it right now because I'm reading it. So this is just the dust jacket, and this goes for like all of the Crescent City books, but I put all of the Crescent City books, but I only grabbed this one because I'm reading it and it's just like empty. So yeah, literally any of the Crescent City books I think are just absolutely gorgeous. They're just so pretty. Like all of the like intricate colors and stuff. So the first book's red, the second one's blue, this one's gold, but they all have a person in the middle with like stuff coming out. I don't know. It is just so pretty, and I am obsessed. I'm honestly obsessed with every Sarah J Maas book cover. The next one is a book you haven't stopped thinking about, and that's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I think I read Fourth Wing like 3 or 4 months ago, and I still think about it to this day, and that could be because I just read Iron Flame, I don't know, this month, earlier in December, or maybe the end of November, but I think about that book. I think about that book every single day, and also the 3rd book comes out in less than a month, so I think about that a lot. The next one is an unpopular book that you loved, and honestly, I read a lot of mainstream popular books this year, so a lot of the unpopular books that I read, I didn't just like love. So I ended up just going with Funny You Should Ask. I think a lot of people have heard of this book. I would consider it honestly a popular book, but it's not like a mainstream book, if you want to say that. So yeah, I don't know. I absolutely love this book and cannot wait for the like sequel to come out. Probably not the best answer, but it's not the most popular book, so I'm considering this an unpopular one. The next one is a book that you thought you'd love but didn't, and I'm gonna go with the whole Shatter Me series here because I started this series earlier this year, and I don't I'm not gonna shit talk this series, but I did not love it, but I also did not hate it. It's not amazing. If you watched my Shadow Me series reading vlog that came out during Vlogmas, I actually said that I don't care to continue this series. Like, I would, but I'm not gonna do it right now or like in the immediate future. I have no desire to pick it back up. So I really thought that I was gonna love that series and read it really quickly, and I think it has to do with it being YA, but I just, not a series or any of the books. Like, I didn't love any of them. The next one is a book with the most unique concept you've read this year, and that is easily The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is a book that I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars, but I did not love it, but it was pretty good. But I think that it had an amazing concept. Like, the fact that a girl was, like, she was, oh my god, not invincible. What is it called when you, like, live forever? Immortal is the word. But the fact that this, like, immortal girl just has gone so long not having anyone remember her, and she goes from country to country. Like, first of all, that has to be, like, the saddest thing in the world. But then finding someone that, like, actually remembered you for some reason, it's just such an interesting concept. And although I didn't just absolutely love the book, I thought that it had one of the most insane concepts I've ever heard of. The next one is a book you read this year that you would reread. I genuinely, like, don't even know, guys. I have so many books that I would reread. Like, I would reread all of the Sarah J Maas books that I've read, which I think is only, like, in the Throne of Glass series, it's really only, like, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, Kingdom of Ash, and then all of the Crescent City books. And then I have so many. I really have so many. I would reread the whole Addicted series. I feel like I would reread Funny You Should Ask. There are so many books that I could not even list them. We're getting to the end. So the next one is a reading goal. Your reading goal for 2025. I'm keeping it the same. I'm gonna put 65 books again. Like, I think that was a good reading goal, and I'm hoping that I can reach it again. The next one is books you wish you got to this year. So I think that the Magnolia Park series and also the Caraval series, I wanted to finish that one. So I have not started the Magnolia Park series. I have been wanting to forever because I know it's Sarah Caroldi's, like, absolute favorite. And I've heard it's like the Addicted series, like, it's kind of like a sitcom, like you follow multiple characters sort of thing. And then the Caraval series, I've read the first book, but I have not read any of the other ones. And then, what is this, like, not prequel? Why did I almost say prequel? What is the, like, spin-off? Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I also want to get to that. So those are the, like, 2 series that I really wanted to get to this year, and I just was not able to. And then the very last question is, what will you prioritize in your 2025 reading goal? And I put listen to more audiobooks. I am not a person that can, I don't know, I feel like I am someone who gets very distracted listening to audiobooks. My brain just does not, like, register audiobooks, which is so weird because I listen to, like, podcasts and stuff, and obviously, like, music. So, like, I'm like, why does audiobooks not, like, register in my head? And so I want to try to, like, get back into that and just listen to more. And then I also just want to branch out into more unknown authors and books that people just, like, don't know about a lot. I feel like I'm someone that really goes with, like, mainstream books, and I want to try to get out of that because I have read a lot of books that were not mainstream and I ended up loving them. So those are 2 goals that I really want to have in 2025. Let me know down below what your reading goal is for 2025. I want to know how many books y'all are going to read. If you read, like, 100 or more books, I applaud y'all because I don't know how anyone does that. I genuinely don't. I guess people who read or listen to audiobooks, that's probably a good way to get more books in. But like I said, for me, it's just been really hard this year. My brain just does not work like that. So I think that if I could read or listen to more audiobooks, that I could get more books in. But let me know down below how many books you want to read in 2025. I am so thankful for y'all. Thank you for watching my videos in 2024. I love y'all so much, and I cannot wait to see what 2025 brings. I'm hoping to do a lot of book videos and then also a lot of, honestly, non-book videos. I feel like mixing them is really fun for me. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me through 2024. All my new subscribers, I love y'all so much. And yeah, thank you so much for everything. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more videos in the future. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.